Introduction of socket communication. Discourse about socket communication will be divided in 4 parts. 1. Introduction of socket. 2. Socket instruction. 3. Application of socket programming. 4. Socket debug tool. The course will be around 10 minutes and there will be 2 main goals. Be aware of sockets and programming, be familiar with the socket debug tools. 1. Introduction of socket communication. What is a socket? Network socket is an inter-process communication protocol provided by the operating system. In the communication between two networks, the socket is an endpoint for each network. During communication, the application in one network stores the information in its host socket and sends it to the application in the other network via network transmission media. So those applications could exchange data via sockets. The socket expression is a decimal IP address with a port number with dot or comma to break it. For the socket application scenarios, in case of vision control or upper computer control requirement for customer, socket communication can be used for those scenarios. Jaka robot is a socket client in the applications. 2. Socket instruction. Open socket. Create a TCP client and connect with the TCP server. Select the ID from the specified socket, enter the TCP server IP and a port number when running the instruction. The TCP client will establish connection with the TCP server. Open socket and return the results. Create a TCP client and connect with TCP server. Return the connection result. Select the ID for the specified socket, enter the TCP server IP and port number. When running the instruction, the TCP client will establish connection with the TCP server. The return result will be greater than 0 if the connection succeeded, while it will be -1 if failed. Close socket. You can just close the socket connection. Select the ID of the specified socket when running the instruction. The socket connection will be closed. On the example on the right, we can see that the robot is opening socket connection with the socket number 1. Then set the program variable to -1. Then the if condition, if the program variable is less than 0, repeat the loop. Then the program will put inside the socket result variable the result inside the socket number 2. Wait 1 second and close both socket 1 and 2. Send data via socket. Send data to the TCP server from the robot controller via socket communication. Select the ID for the specified socket, enter the TCP server IP and port number. Drag the variable or input value inside. When running this instruction, the TCP server will receive the data. Note that the number, string and array variable are supported, not requiring special format, but Unicode characters are not supported. Send data via socket and return result. Send data to the TCP server from the robot controller via socket communication and return the sending result. Select the ID for the specified socket, enter the TCP server IP and port number. Again, drag the variable or input a value, and when running this instruction, the TCP server will receive the data. This instruction will return the sending results. In case of sending succeeded, the result will be the length of the data, while it will be -1 if it failed. On the example on the right, we open the socket communication and then ask the robot to send us A with the result of the variable A, B and the result of variable B, and C and the result of variable C. On the network assistant, we can see the result with the content of every variables. Receive variable via socket. Definition. wait for a certain amount of seconds until receiving the variable. The robot controller will send the requested variable name, then start waiting for receiving the data. Select the ID for the specified socket, drag the variable into this instruction. In case of the controller doesn't receive the variable after a certain amount of seconds, the program will continue the next instruction. The robot will always wait until receiving the data if the waiting time is 0 seconds. Variable name with a Unicode character is not supported. We connect with the socket server, receive the variable and enter the data received. On the example here, after opening the socket communication on channel 1, the robot will ask us to receive the content of the variable A. Here on the send data we can input the content what we want to put inside the variable, for example here 111, and then the robot will send us back the result of this variable. The same for the string for variable B and the array for variable C. Receiving array data with a specified length via socket. Wait for a certain amount of seconds until receiving the array data with the length of the specified length. The controller will send get string request and start waiting for receiving. Select the ID for the specified socket. In case of the controller doesn't receive the variable after a certain amount of seconds, the program will continue to the next instruction. And as always, the robot will wait until receiving the data if the waiting time is 0 seconds. If receiving failure or overrun, empty array will be returned, while the result will be stored in the array if succeeded. On the example on the right, we connect with the socket server, receiving array and return the result. So after opening the socket communication, we ask the robot to put inside the variable C the sent data with the array length of 6. So if we put an array with the 6 data inside, the robot will send us the 6 data of the array. Receive data via socket. The controller will wait for receiving the data for a certain amount of seconds. No extra data will be sent from the controller before start waiting. Select the ID for the specified socket. In case of the controller doesn't receive the variable after a certain amount of seconds, the programming will continue to the next instruction. On the example on the right, we connect with the socket server, receive the data and return the result. So we open the socket communication, then we input inside the variable B the data sent via the network assistant. And then the robot will send us back the content of this variable. Application of socket communication. Connect with the socket server, create string variable for receiving data from the server, then convert the string variable to array. With the format string instruction, the robot will make then a linear move to this array specified in Cartesian coordinate and send the string OK to the server after arriving to the position. Let's watch a video about the application. We are sending coordinates now with the network assistant. When the robot is receiving this data, it's making a move and sending OK. We can try to change the coordinates and the robot will always make a move and then send OK. Socket debug tools. 3 options are provided by Hercules: TCP client, TCP server, and UDP. Jaka robot controller can be used as a socket client. Select TCP server options in Hercules. The IP address will follow the IP assigned to the PC network adapter in the app programming interface. The IP address of OpenSocket instruction shall be the same as the PC network adapter. This port number is from the open socket instruction connection. Note that during the socket communication, the external device such as a PC and the robot controller should be in the same network. In case of communication failure, turn off the network firewall in a PC. This course ends here. Thank you for watching.